Calling the December 9th, 2020 JJC board meeting at 12:09. Isn't that kind of ironic? 12:09 on 12:09. Meeting is now called. I'll ask for Carl Buck to start us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Should I do the roll call?
She needs to do roll call.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Broderick,
Present.
Garcia Guillen,
Present.
Mahalik,
Here.
Morales, O'Connell,
Here.
Washington.
Here.
Oh, good. Wilkinson. Here. And Wunderlich.
All right. Thank you. We have a quorum. Carl, I'll ask you to start us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. We've done the roll order. We've done the pledge. Any public comments, Ms. Tierney?
No request to speak before the board, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, business reports. I understand we have a presentation on student bridge options by Leggett Architects. I think I saw our Leggett rep online.
Yes, I'd like to introduce Leggett Architects this evening to provide the board a brief presentation on the proposal for the student bridge. If you recall, the student bridge is put on hold for potentially 1 year pending state budget, but the plan has been developed, designed, and we want you to be aware of that. And then once we're ready to move forward, you'll have that information.
Thank you, Dr.
So
All right.
you, all right, I'm sorry, is it Jeff Shronkowski? Are you going to kick it off?
I'll kick it off quickly here. Thank you, Dr.
Great,
Mitchell.
welcome.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm well. It's great to be in front of you today. And, I was at the, again, for everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Jeff Shronkowski, and I'm Principal and Director of Higher Education at Leggett Architects. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the board for this commission for the student bridge. It's just such a great project. And as you know, it was in 3 different master plans that we had done, worked on with the college. And it was just such a great thing to hear that the college was moving forward with it. And that also that we were selected to do the project. So, I was at the board meeting when you approved our selection, but I didn't get a chance to speak at that board meeting. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the board, not only for the pedestrian bridge project, but also for the campus police project. That was another one that was in 3 different master plans that we worked on with the college. So thank you very much, and I want to turn it over now to Michael Lundeen and Ryan Van Hosen.
Thanks, Jeff. Can everyone see the slide there?
Yes.
Okay. Our time slide is only a few minutes, so we're looking to just provide a brief overview of some of the analysis that led to the design solution, and then we'll share a few images of the final design. So here's an aerial view of the campus, and of course the main project objective is to cut down the travel time for students and faculty to get around this U-shaped campus. To close that loop, the bridge needed to connect Building J to either Building T or Building U. So here's a diagram summarizing some of our studies. That included taking an inventory of all the trees, their size, species, and condition, looking to maintain as many high quality trees as possible. It also shows existing and potential walking paths and the requirement to maintain a lane for a fire truck access. And then where do we connect to each of the buildings? We started off with the route on the bottom in conceptual design that connects at the 2-story space of Building J and connects to Building T. However, that route came in over budget when we did the cost estimate, mostly because the span over the water was rather significant. And the span over the water is actually the biggest driver of cost, we found out through that analysis. Ultimately, we decided on the path above after looking at a few different options. There's this little bump out of land you can see here, and it may not look like much, but it helped tremendously to cut down that span and save on the steel costs. And then as a bonus too, that path also requires the removal of a minimum amount of trees as compared to some of the others we looked at. Moving to the final design, we're connecting to Building J here at the elevator lobby, you can see with the floor plan, and to Building U at the 2-story circulation space. On both ends, we saw that there were great spaces with soft seating. We saw it as a chance to activate and breathe new life into spaces that aren't heavily used now by creating these informal gathering spaces for the students. And you'll see some images of what those spaces could look like in a minute here. I'll let Ted speak to the final design.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ted Howell. I'm Director of Design with Leggett Architects, and I've been working with the team on these initial concepts of the design of the bridge. The solution obviously hits the sweet spot of all the items that Ryan was talking about in terms of cost, structural, not taking down very many trees. Obviously, we want to maintain as many trees as possible, and maintaining the fire lane were all drivers of the final solution. But we also wanted to overlay that with two fundamental things. One, with this concept, was develop a passive solar design, and you can see that with the south face glazing here, with the mullion caps in the window system that would provide shading in summer, but would let the low light in winter to come in, and a less amount of fenestration on the north side, but still allowing some views. The other thing was something that Ryan mentioned. We didn't want just this to be a circulation path from Building J to Building U. We wanted to activate it with nodes of activity for the students for socializing, studying, both at the connection points to J and U, but also along the bridge itself. And I call this the Monet shot with the water lilies. I think you can appreciate that. And it gives you a sense of what it would look like from ground level, pedestrian level within the confines of the campus. And this would be the north side. As I mentioned, we want a limited glazing in that direction because we don't want to have heat loss, but we did want to take advantage of those views. So we created this ribbon window that's right at eye level, basically from 3'6" to 6 feet. So you get this view as you're walking across the length of the bridge, and then punctuated with these things that we call sky carols that punch out of the bridge. That are these little like carol areas where students can meet and greet. You can see a view here, expansive glazing out to the north. There are some great views to the north also, and creating just soft seating and technology where, students can study, meet, hang out. I just envision this as being a very coveted area on campus if they can grab one of these areas to study. And then at the two connection points, at J, not so much on the exterior, but you'll see an image of it on the interior. And then at U, as Ryan mentioned, wherever circulation occurs, it's a real opportunity to create that activity that students love to have with soft seating, the opportunity for socialization. You can see it on the right-hand image. That is the link between Building T and Building U. And we're capitalizing on that by creating this grand stairway from the connection of the link down to the actual first floor of the kind of atrium going around the campus, and then integrating soft seating again for an opportunity for people to meet and see and be seen. On the Building J end, right now, if you remember where the kind of utility elevator is, where the kitchen used to be, we're now making that into a pedestrian elevator. So that's another amount of circulation that's kind of hitting that one location where the two circulations come together. So we thought it'd be nice if we could take over a storage room that's adjacent to that area, widen the corridor, and create again some soft seating where there's a lot of circulation there. So an opportunity for students to meet and sit down and study and just hang out. And then on the opposite end, as we mentioned, the stairway up, not just having a quick stairway to get up there, but really make it a kind of a place to be seen, connecting it to the link, and then integrating soft seating on the first floor so that it really activates that space where nothing is happening right now. It's primarily just circulation. And then on the upper floor, I think you may be familiar with the student lounge on the second floor. It's kind of the dead end of the corridor in Building U. And now we're going to really activate it because that's the way that you're going to connect on the second floor to the actual link. And then we're going to open it up to kind of the concourse on the lower level. So it will really, really become another activity space for students to hang out and really take advantage of the great views out onto the campus. So that is the bridge project. We'll open it up for any questions you might have.
Will this disturb any of the wildlife that we have out there? Because I know we have definitely people that worry about the fen. Will this do anything to damage that, or will this enhance the situation, allowing the people to definitely visualize what's out on the property?
Michael, you want to answer that? You want me to?
Yeah, I think there's a couple answers to that. We've been, with steering committee, we've been working closely with Andy of the environmental committee for one, understanding the trees which are of the highest quality, as well as understand some of the landforms. There's a spot where there's a bluff of stone that comes out onto the lake, as well as some plants that are a little farther north of this area. And Andy was very particular to point out, make sure that we don't go beyond this end so that there isn't an impact with those plants. I don't remember the exact names, but Andy was very specific about it in our walkthroughs out there and has been working with us on the design. And then the second is, and Ted started to talk about this at an earlier meeting today, that the glass that we're proposing for the bridge, especially the area facing south, has integral to it a bird strike image that isn't viewing, you can't view it with the human eye, but birds and other wildlife actually can see it. And this along with the structure itself should knock down on the amount of bird strikes that would actually hit the glass.
Well, good. I appreciate that response, because I know we as a board are always concerned when we have people coming in, and of course, the fact that it is a fen, we don't want to disrupt that area either. So I think that needs to be addressed so that no one misunderstands that we are going to do anything to damage that area. And I think that was something that needs to be addressed by us as the board, you, to make sure that that is still in substantial position, no changes to it. We're just adding a course of action to walk from one campus to another without disturbing the fen.
Right. And, just to clarify with disturbing the fen, this option does have one pier that's in the water. We've had discussions with the city of Joliet, and, so there'll have to be construction, methods taken to be sure that we protect the fen, of course, during the construction, so that there isn't waste and the debris and so forth. So we'll be taking some phasing actions, with the contractor to make sure they protect it, of course, during construction also.
Good. I appreciate that. Does anyone else have any questions of them? Hearing none. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is presentation of the City Center campus site work from Hamilton Engineering. Dr. Mitchell?
Yes, I believe is Howard on the call? Okay, I'm not sure who the representatives from Howard or Hamilton Engineering, so we can turn that over to you if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Howard, you're on mute. I see you.
Oh, I thought so, but. Can you tell who he is, Jim?
There we go. I'm off. Hear me now?
Yes,
Good. Excellent. Sorry about that.
that's okay. Hello.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. I'm Howard Hamilton of Hamilton Consulting Engineers. With me this morning is Michelle Kelly of Upland Design. She's our landscape architect who is working with us on this. We thank the college for this opportunity to work with you and your staff and your committees on this important project. And we especially thank the members of the programming committee, Rick Lyman, Pat Van Dyne, Amy Murphy, Rich Rivera, Nick Shakota, and Dave Kozlowski. Each of them has proven to be helpful, knowledgeable, and dedicated partner in developing the proposed conceptual design that we're going to share with you this morning. We've worked together and discussed 4 different concepts for improving the grounds of the City Center campus with the following goals in mind. 1, create a beautiful and functional corridor between Chicago and Ottawa streets. 2, maximize parking. And 3rd, and definitely not the final because it governed everything, was to provide a 2-phase project that maintains the Chicken and Spice property until the future acquisition of the parcel by the college. Of the 4 different concepts that were presented and discussed with the JJC representatives, we're here today to present the final recommendation of the president and cabinet. The first slide I'm going to share with you is the existing conditions of the site. This is from the Will County GIS. A couple of things are important to note here. Here's where the JJC Center is, City Center is at the lower center of the picture. Renaissance Center is immediately to the west. Chicken and Spice, we'll talk about quite a bit, is immediately north. And this blue square here represents where the Sheraton Hotel used to be, which is right now a big gravel spot. We've given you 2 pictures to kind of orient yourself. The top one shows you the look toward Ottawa Street and showing you the barricade fence that is around the gravel. That's what we have today. The next view that we have is back up exact opposite direction from the same location, looking along the city center and seeing Chicken and Spice with the red roof up here. And then this is Chicago Street, newly opened. So that's Jets, just to give you a little bit of orientation on the site. And then I'll take you to our proposal. And for that, Michelle Kelly is going to take you through some of the details.
Thanks, Howard. So what you see on the screen is phase 1. And one of the key pieces is adding the 21 new stalls where the hotel is right now, as well as the trees at the end of the aisles that go with it to tie all in. And then also phase 1 gives us this entire new pedestrian plaza going from Chicago all the way to Ottawa, really tying the whole space together for this open seating area. We're going to also create really a gateway feel with this plaza, both from the parking lot into the buildings as well as from the streetscape downtown. The base pavement is a concrete pavement, and then you'll see the tan lines. Those are highlight pavers that run north-south and really bring the people from the parking lot, guiding them and welcoming them into the campus city center setting. In between or along those pavement lines, there are rectangles that you see, and those are the benches. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see these benches have a lot of energy to them with that nice twist. And they're really durable stone benches. And then in between those paver highlights are planting beds. So each of those is dotted with a shade tree. And then also a ground plane of ground covers so we really have this nice modeled shade throughout the plaza, and then a low level of ground covers so that you really can see through, it's welcoming and it's open. The other piece that really creates a gateway are the light entry columns. We have one of them on Ottawa, one of them on Chicago, and then 2 in the center of this plaza, welcoming, again, people from the parking lots. They're beacons, they're lit up, and they have nice color to them, but they also frame the plaza area where we don't have any trees so that you could set out tables, create an event space, put a tent up even, and tie into maybe a larger festival happening in downtown Joliet. So this really gives you the phase 1 pieces. A couple other mentions that will be happening in that phase 1 is the removal of the sign along Ottawa Street, which will provide another parking spot there, and as well as the new alley connection for Chicken and Spice. So there's a current access off Chicago. This will allow you to be able to drive through when you exit and be able to leave out through the alley system that exists already, providing better circulation in the interim time period before we get to phase 2. So here you can see phase 2, which the biggest piece of this is the removal of the Chicken and Spice building and renovation of all the pavement, creating an additional 33 stalls of parking, 4 new trees, and then a drop-off area at the south side of that new parking area that ties right into the pedestrian plaza. Just gives another spot for people to drop off students, or maybe during an event, dropping off supplies, and gets them out of that streetscape setting while they're able to feel safe at that juncture of automobile and pedestrian spaces. So overall, with both phases, we're adding 54 stalls of parking and really tying this whole parking building streetscape together with this new open gateway plaza.
And with that, we're available for any questions you might have.
Board, do you have any questions? If not, I do have one. My concern falls on, will we be doing anything to border and protect, because we're right across from the unemployment office and the county's office, and everybody is always looking for free parking for going to the court and everything, and to the unemployment office. Will we be doing anything to protect that it's used for our purposes?
I can actually answer that. So the downtown campus is, we have issue tags for students and employees. So it'll be the same. Our campus police will patrol
Okay.
that parking area.
And the only reason I'm asking is because First Midwest is across from that. And First Midwest now has a patrolman out there watching to make sure that you are doing banking business. So I would hope that we're going to be doing the same similarity to our campus, so that our students and our faculty and our staff have total access to park, not have to go and find something else.
We do that now.
Good,
So
okay.
same practice.
Thank you. Anybody else, anything? If not, thank you so much for your report.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Great. Have a good day. Okay, next, moment of silence. Currently, we have a request for Dr. Edward Sinew Oak. He's the retired social and behavioral full-time faculty member and previous department chair. Anyone else have anyone that wants to bring up at this point in time? If not, I ask for a moment of silence for Dr. Edward Sinew. Okay. Thank you. Next, Joan, do we have any special guests that want to address the board?
No special guests, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We have selected reports, recognitions. Is Nicola Blowers here today, online, virtually?
Hi,
Is that Nicola?
Yes, it is.
Great. Betty, would you mind doing me a favor and reading the proclamation for her?
Yes. Whereas Nicola Blowers has been a loyal and dedicated employee of Joliet Junior College from January 1989 to December 2020 for 31 years of service as an adjunct instructor and an employee in the theater department. And whereas throughout her years of service, Nicola Blowers has demonstrated admirable support for the ideals of education, as well as for the institution of Joliet Junior College and the people whom the college serves. Whereas the service performed throughout her years at Joliet Junior College has always been of the highest standard of professionalism, quality, and excellence. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Illinois Community College District number 525, Joliet Junior College, counties of Will, Grundy, Kendall, LaSalle, Kankakee, Livingston, and Cook, state of Illinois, does hereby recognize and commend Nicola Blowers for her distinguished service, as well as for her diligence, perseverance, and loyalty in executing those duties as herein stated, adopted this 9th day of December 2020.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept this?
So move.
Second.
Did you get the second, Joan?
Yes, I did.
Do you want the roll call or do you want an aye, all ayes?
Broderick,
Aye.
Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson, Wunderlich. Okay.
Thank you so much. And Nicola, thank you for your service with JJC. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Would you like to say anything at this time?
I wouldn't have stayed as long as I did if I didn't believe in the mission of the college. And I'm a graduate from there, and I started part-time in 1985 and then full-time in 1989, and I appreciate all the years of service. I believe in everything JJC does. So thank you for the opportunity of letting me be an employee there.
We're glad you were. Thank you so much for your service.
And thank you for recognizing.
Have a great week. Do we have Paula Swanstrom on virtual? Is Paula on? I'm taking that's not. Is Daryl on? Daryl Parsons on? I'm taking that's not. Is Carolyn Power on? Okay, I'm taking that as no. Is Liz Methvin on? I'm taking that as not. So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the retirees for Paula Swanstrom, retiree Daryl Parsons, retire Carol Power, and retire Liz Methvin. I need a motion to approve those 4 recognitions.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, Joan?
Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson, and Broderick.
Yes. All right, thank you so much. All right, Mr. Marsink, are you on? We need the faculty union report.
I'm here. Can you see me?
I can't see you yet.
Yeah. How about now?
There you are.
Hold on, Jim.
Yes.
Jim's trying to move you around. There we are.
All righty.
How are you today?
I'm good. Yourself, Maureen?
Doing good.
I hope everybody's doing well. First, I want to wish everybody a happy holidays. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate, and if you celebrate them all, you have a great holiday, don't you? I did want to say something about some of the retirees, just Nikki Blowers. Nikki, if anybody's ever gone to a production at the college, Nikki was intimately involved in every single one of those theater productions. She was an amazing, amazing employee. She's probably not on the call anymore, but and as a faculty member, all I know is that I often had to call on her for a favor. We need to use the theater for this purpose or that, and she was just incredibly helpful. She will be missed, and I want everybody to know that, as will the other retirees. A couple of quick things, and then I won't keep you too long because
Thank you, Bob.
Oh, good, Nikki. I'm glad you're still on. Okay. We have a task force, obviously. This has been an incredibly challenging semester for everybody. Every single person who works on campus. I've worked in this industry for about close to 30 years, but 24 years at JJC. And this has been by far the most challenging year I've ever had. And I'm not alone in that. It's adjusting on the run, trying to get everything out there for students, trying to do the best we can to help students, particularly those who may not have all the access to technology that they need. And it's just been a challenge, and we've done some things very, very well, and there are things that we're still working on, trying to get better at. I know our task force, which is made up of faculty, deans, mostly the people from the academic side, but also Bob Morris is on there also, and others. We're working constantly, and every time we meet, I can only tell you that the first and the question is asked is, what are we doing for students? How can we make it better? How can we serve them better? That is our focus, period. Now, have there been a glitch here and a bump there? Absolutely. Will you get a phone call every now and then from a student who I left an email this morning and didn't get it, somebody didn't return it until tonight? That'll probably happen. But I can tell you that every faculty member I've talked to has done all they can this semester to make sure that we help our students through. And now that we maybe see a light at the end of the tunnel, I'm certainly looking forward to getting a vaccination and getting making myself making it safer for me to be teaching face to face. And I think a lot of other people are looking at it the same way. I can't wait till I can get back into the classroom, as most of us can't wait till we get back into the classroom. You know, you have Teams meetings like this, and you talk to students on the phone, and you email them back and forth. But I've had students this whole semester I've never physically met. I've never met them. You know, and it's very, very difficult, very, very difficult to build that kind of a relationship that you want. But we are trying. We'll have a Teams meeting, and because students are because students already have, whoever has their mic on, please turn it off. See, my teacher comes out every now and then. Anyway, what I was saying is that we'll have a Teams meeting, and students are working, or students have you know, other obligations now because they're not used to setting aside a particular time for a class. And you might have a Teams meeting and meet with one student. Then you make a video, then you send stuff out in other ways. And it's a challenge, but I'm not complaining. I love my work. I love my job. I love working with students. We just can't wait to get back into the classroom, and task force will continue to work on that and continue to work on ways that we can best serve the students, because they are what we're here for. That said, one last thing is, I know we're iCampus or Canvas through Chris Ostwinkle has created a video that's to help students, and that's was run. Lynn Mackey, Dean Mackey ran it by me today. It looks like it'll be very helpful to help any student who is new or returning. It'll help them to. It'll help the, yeah, there's an echo. I see that message. It's not from me. Anyway, it's a video that's going to be, that I'm going to encourage all faculty to their websites, put on their classes, or create their own that would supplement that. Make sure that students know exactly how to take an online class, all the things they should expect, student, and any kind of resources we have for them, etc. It's a very nice and very well done video. So that said, that noise in the background, I'm sure is bothering a lot of you. So I will wrap this up by saying it's been a challenging year, but we're going to get through this year. We're going to keep plugging away. I appreciate all the cooperation we've had and the work with the administration. It's been we've worked hand in hand throughout this last year, and I'm proud of that. And so looking forward, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I hope you all do too. So that said, one more time, happy holidays, and take care of yourselves and be safe, and until we get this thing behind us. Thank you.
We appreciate your comments. Happy holidays to you too, on whichever holiday you do serve. But we would love to say we love the teamwork that you are working with our administration. We love the fact that you're keeping the students focused during this pandemic and this real situation that we are going through with the virtual, learning and everything. I think all of us board members appreciate how hard our faculty is working to make sure that our students are getting the best education that they can due to the situation. And yes, we can't wait to see you guys meet them face to face, because there's definitely a connection when you meet your students face to face. So thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome. All right. Do we have Laurel Discow on for the Adjunct Faculty Union? Laurel, are you there? I take it she's not. No Laurel? All right. Let's go on to the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of November 12th, 2020. I need a motion to accept the minutes for November 12th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Joan?
Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington, Washington, Washington,
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yes.
Wilkinson, and Broderick.
Aye. Great, thank you. Now we need the review of the board retreat notes of October 30th, 2020. Do we need a motion to approve those then, Carl?
Yes.
I need a motion then for the retreat minutes of 10/30/2020. Do I hear a motion for first?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Joan?
Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson, Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
and Broderick.
Aye. Thank you so much. Communications, Ms. Tierney, do we have any communications that you need to share with the board?
No further communications, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I need the approval of the agenda. I need a motion for that approval.
So moved.
Second.
Joan?
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson, Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
and Broderick.
Aye. I need a motion for the consent agenda, the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I am going to ask, since we have a first and a second, that 2.1.1 be tabled in that motion.
Madam Chair, can I also pull an item?
Which one would you like, Nancy?
Can we go ahead and do 4.2.4, please?
I didn't hear you. Remember, I'm hard of hearing.
That's okay. I'll repeat it. 4.2.4.
Point 4?
4.2.4, correct.
Okay, so just the one, 4.2.4?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Joan, please give the tally.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson, Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
and Broderick.
Aye. Now I'm going to bring up, Carl, again, that I'm tabling the 2.1.1, so I need a motion to table that.
So moved.
Second?
No questions?
Why are we tabling it?
I'll explain in the executive session.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Joan?
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson, Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
and Broderick.
Aye. All right, now 4.2.4, sole source Microsoft Azure. I need a motion for that.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
I need the discussion.
So for this one, I have a question. If I can get additional information on it, on the current status of our systems and how that would, I just need a little bit more clarification on that.
Steve Broderick, I'd like to call on Jim Sir to respond.
That would be fine. Jim,
Thank
sir?
you.
Hi, Trustee Garcia. The Microsoft Azure is a renewal. I believe it's a 3-year renewal of our cloud-based services with Microsoft. As we move more of our mission-critical systems from on-premise in our data center here at the college, we are moving more of those mission-critical services into the cloud with the large providers like Microsoft, Amazon, and others to improve our resiliency, scalability, and in line with the trend of more cloud-enabled solutions that we have seen in recent years. We've certainly been well ahead of that curve in our adoption of cloud technology. So this is a renewal of our services with Microsoft for that purpose of leveraging their cloud-based technologies. We are also seeing a corresponding decrease in our on-premise technology, which also leads to a decrease in the procurement of hardware and software that we have to procure and then also maintain on-premise here at the college. Does that answer your question, or were you looking for something more or different than that?
No, that's perfect. I just needed a little bit more information. I don't have any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Sir. All right, do we have any more questions on that?
Attorney Buck has his hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Trustee Garcia, this says sole source on the agenda, but if in the packet it identifies that this is through the Illinois Public Higher Education Cooperative. So this is bid out through the state, and then we purchased this through a state contract. So even though it says sole source, to get into that state contract, they have to go through a bidding process, just for your information.
Okay, thank you.
Do you need anything more, Nancy?
No,
Are you good?
that's it. I'm good.
Does any other board member have any question? Any trustee have another questions? If not, Joan, please call roll.
Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson, Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
and Broderick.
Aye. Thank you. All right, next, student development. Does that fall under the consent agenda?
Right, there are no action items.
I don't see any, no action items, nothing on it. All right, new and old business. Does any trustee have any new or old business they'd like to bring up?
You do have one item, 6.1, the language interpretation discussion for the board.
Pardon me?
6.1,
6.9.
6.1, the language interpretation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
discussions
That's
on-
under new and old business, right? But I'm asking too if they have anything to bring up at this point in time too? Because if they
Other
don't.
than that,
Pardon me?
go ahead. I said other than 6.1, I don't have anything else at this time.
Okay. I have something to bring up, but I'm going to let the 6.1 language interpretation options come up for Dr. Mitchell to bring to the board to talk. Is that what you're going to be doing then?
Well, this is just, I had responded to Trustee Garcia Guillen's request last month to provide information on language interpretation. Since that time, as you can tell, we've converted the agenda into Spanish as well as English, and we're notifying on social media as well. As far as next steps for any closed meeting or closed captioning, production, translation, I require a full vote from the board. I provided information under two options, option 1 and 2, that was sent to you on November 23rd with the associated costs, and that would be per language option. And so I would require additional direction from the board because there's a significant cost difference. In addition, we do have an anticipated price or cost for a freelance interpreter for someone to sign at a board meeting, and that would be once we return to campus, and that ranges from $50 to $65 an hour with a $2 minimum. So that's for signing And then as far as the closed captioning, it ranges from $2,550 annual to $12,600 annually per language. So at this point, myself and my team required full direction from the board, full approval on how to move forward.
And I'm going to interject because Nancy, I did check with all the community colleges when I was on the Illinois Community College gathering in November.
Okay.
And I did bring this up to ask them if anyone is doing any of those items. And none of the colleges are, but their recommendations were that if you want somebody to sign, get it to be a student, so there's no cost to us. If you want somebody that is working in that field of doing videos or whatever, to do it that way because the cost factor is inhibited. It's just really a high cost factor. And none of the community colleges in Illinois do it. And they do have the variety of, the people in the community, other than, they have all different sorts of origins that are in their community. And they said that they really have not had a request by the community to do it. And they don't have the cost factor built into their budget to do it either. But they said if you want to get somebody to volunteer for community service hours or whatever to learn how to do it, that's something entirely up to the college, but none of the colleges in Illinois do it.
Madam Chair, thank you for sharing that information. So I think that this is something that we need to do, even if the other colleges are not doing that specific thing. We are the first college, we're the first to do a lot of different really interesting and cool initiatives. So this could be one of those initiatives. Associated to the cost, I think that we should be able to figure something out. We are able to allocate funds to other important projects. So I think this definitely is one of those projects that we should take on to make sure that we're being accessible and making sure that other people in our community are able to access the agenda and the meetings. An option could be, again, to have students help once in a while. But I think in order to make sure that we are providing the information to the best of our ability, we do need to hire a certified interpreter to make sure that language, cultural relevancy is not getting lost with the message that we're trying to communicate to the community.
Madam Chairperson.
Oh, Betty's talking.
Pardon me, I didn't hear you, Betty.
Madam Chairperson, may I speak?
You may speak, definitely.
Okay. I really don't see the necessity, but I think before we move forward with spending that type of money, there needs to be a needs assessment because the information for the college is readily accessible in Spanish and English. Has anyone in other languages asked for an interpreter? And I just think before we move forward and approve any funding for this, we need to know, is the need really there? Or is this just something that someone would want to see? So I think we need more information and an assessment of who would really use the interpreters.
And I do think, Betty, I agree with you on that. I do think that we should explore volunteers, because if we have volunteers, that minimizes the cost. And I think the cost is the sensitivity issue, even though we want to give services to those that are requesting it. But I think it should be something that is worked in and looked at of volunteering.
Right, and we could look into that. We'd have to look at credentialing. Obviously, we'd also have to look if there's any union conflicts with any of our union agreements. But if you could let us know which direction you would like to move in, we can continue to evaluate. If this is something we move forward in this budget year, we might have to look at, obviously, we're watching our budget very closely. This could be something that we look at a possible transfer from contingency into the board's budget to account for some of these costs and then build those costs into future years. But as you can tell from again, from option 1 and option 2, significant cost difference from 2550 to 12,600 annually, and then the annual spend for potential signing would probably be in the range of about $750 annually. So.
And I understand that. And I think what Nancy's looking for, being that we're virtual, I don't know how many people really, Jeff, do we know how many are on right now that are watching this?
Jake.
Can you show us the participants? How many are on?
There should be a number.
And I know there's a chat area, isn't there, in this thing that they?
40.
It showed 33 at the bottom of my screen.
Is there any way that participants that are on there now can give any in the chat area? Is there a chat area on this thing that they could give any response, which would be nice?
I think something else that the college would need to do in order to make sure that we're reaching out to community members is promote it, continue to promote it in different languages so that we were able to have more people in our board meetings.
Well, and does any other trustee have any comments regarding this issue?
Well, I think what Betty was saying is you gotta do more research and see what the demand's there, obviously. So I wouldn't move forward on anything right now. But I mean, our community, it is important to get our community involved with it. But I mean, the cost effectiveness, we gotta watch our budgets, especially in these hard times. I'm not sure how Roma's gonna be moving forward. So let's I would vote to do a little bit more research on it as well, like Betty was saying earlier.
Dan, how do you feel?
I feel we should look into it and research it and see and find an answer that way.
Okay. All right, I think that's all of the board members because Nancy's given her position. Bob's not on right now, correct?
Correct.
Alicia's not here. I tend to agree with the consensus that there's more research that needs to be done.
Let me work with Kelly Roeder-Tonelli in communications and marketing to see if we can put together some type of survey or something, and we'll come back to you with.
That would be good. That would be advisable.
Okay.
Thank you so much, board. I appreciate that. All right, these are things that I'm gonna, and that I brought this to Dr. Mitchell's attention already, but I want to make sure you guys are all aware of what I brought to her attention. That in the new business, I recommended several things to be developed. Some are in the stages of, but I just thought I'd bring this to your attention. An audit committee, so that we know what the findings are when they come out of the foundation and what the foundation finds out and what we find out from ours so that we can look at anything before it's presented before the board. I'm asking for an audit committee. I'm also asking for her to work on a fraud committee because fraud is the big thing right now that everybody in all business positions are investigating any type of fraud. So I'm asking that she look into establishing a fraud committee. I'm asking for the whistleblower mechanism. There is something in place, but I think we need to have more of an understanding of the whistleblower and what that is so that we can further understand. So people feel comfortable in the campus going to the mechanisms in place for whistleblower. She and I talked about a full functioning receiving department. I think she's going to be elaborating on that later, that there is something going on because there's been changes, right, Dr. Mitchell?
Right, it'll be embedded into Workday as we move forward. We're looking at the receiving department.
Okay, and then also in regards to, we talked about the PACE survey that the whole campus gets. And I think she's going to be checking into this too, to make sure that everyone feels that they are secure in the information that they put into the PACE survey, but to see some end results of areas that they will be working with and letting you know that your voice has been heard, but they cannot give any of the raw contents. They will give you the generals so that you have an idea that what has been discussed in the survey is now being looked at by administration. And I think you're going to work on a number or something for them to communicate if they want to talk more about it or not.
We'll look at the process.
Right, so you're going to look at the structure of the PACE survey. All right, and then I think there was one more thing. I think we need to have any audit findings from the foundation brought to us too, so that would come then through the audit committee as we discussed. Does anybody else have any new business?
No, I'm good.
Pardon me?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, good. All right, the next thing is new business to the first reading on board policies. Old business, because that one was, there's nothing on the drug and alcohol testing. Next is the old business, the approval of the Board of Trustees meeting dates and times for calendar, but that was considered in the consent agenda, so please make sure you do look at it, at the consent agenda item of that. You already approved it. Second reading of the disadvantaged business enterprise. And then we did all of 8.3 through 8.6 on workplace civility, general communications, interaction with the media, identity theft. And now we're on to reports. I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Guillen, represented for the JJC Foundation. Nancy, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. Okay. Our JJC annual meeting was held on November 18th. So I do have some information that I want to share with all of you. So thank you to the foundation for all the work that you guys have done. This whole year, despite the pandemic, we were able to see very good numbers. Our annual contribution for last year was $1.3 million. Out of that, $456,971 was alumni giving, which was a significant increase from previous years. Something else that the foundation did for this particular year is that they awarded over $100,000 for the Smart Star scholarships for fall of 2020, which, if you recall, that was an initiative to make sure that we were encouraging new students to enroll at JJC by providing a scholarship of $500 to get started. This fiscal year, 7 new annual and endowed scholarships were brought up for this fiscal year. And this year, we were able to utilize the Student Emergency Fund to provide a lot of assistance to our students, which include the laptops, computers, hotspots for some of our students who had limited access to internet, food cards, and gas cards, among other things. Again, this year, despite the pandemic and all the issues and challenges, the foundation was able to come up with different techniques to make sure that we are able to provide assistance to our students. That is all I have at this time, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you so much, Trustee Guillen. Christy Mulvey, do you have anything to report regarding the foundation from your position?
You're muted.
Is Christy on?
Sorry, I'm here.
Hold on, he's bringing you up. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, you don't see her?
She's not on video.
I'm here. Yeah, I am.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Okay.
Okay, we see you. Please present.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to, one last thing that has come up with a recent total since I spoke to Trustee Garcia Gillian is that this Friday is our annual employee Christmas virtual Christmas party. And every year we do the basket contest, which all the money goes to the President's Scholarship, which is a scholarship that goes to returning adult students. And every year we raise usually between $3,500 and $4,200. We were worried this year because of the pandemic and not having the party if we would be able to raise those funds. And I'm happy to say that even Dr. Mitchell is going to be surprised with this. We have surpassed all of the years with ticket sales, raffle ticket sales. And as of about 10 minutes ago, because I just added another $100, we have raised $4,840 for the scholarship. So more money than we have ever done. I think it's a testament to our employees, that realize that our students need these scholarship funds and everybody's kind of pulling together to make the best out of a bad situation. So I want to thank the employees for their support. We still only Wednesday, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to hit $5,000. So I just wanted to share that and just how happy I am that everybody pulled together. And even though we were on Plan B, it still became, it will be a very successful event on Friday.
That's fantastic. Very good. Make sure that your board knows that our board wishes your board a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the other holidays that Mr. Marsink mentioned.
Okay.
And we enjoy the information that both you and Nancy have provided to us from the foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is the representative to ICCTA. And guys, you missed me for the last 2 months. I apologize for last month, but I did have a family emergency. So I'm going to fill you in on the ACCT conference that was held October 5th to October 8th. But I am going to share that there was 4 of us that did attend the virtual, and that was Dr. Mitchell, Trustee Morales, and Trustee Guillen, and myself. And Nancy, I know you're on, Trustee Morales is not here. Do you have any comments of the classes that you took? Because we are required to give an update of things that we listened to share with our gathering. Do you have anything that you'd like to share with regards to the virtual conference that you attended? Nancy, you there?
You're on mute, Nancy.
Is she on mute?
Yeah, she's on mute.
Okay, hold on. Nance? Trustee Guillen? Is she there? Nancy, are you there?
Maybe she stepped away. You could provide yours. I gave my report last month. Maybe she can.
All right, well, I will start with my report and then I'll ask for her after we're done. It was a great opportunity. I think Dr. Mitchell had provided you last month with her report, correct, Dr. Mitchell? So you did have the president's position on the classes that she attended. It was very intense. It was probably one of the best things that they did virtually. And I think the gathering, we are still able to see all of the classes, and it's a blessing to see what all of these other schools across the whole country are doing with regards to the pandemic. But one of the classes, and I'm going to mention the classes that I went to, it was called A Mission, Driven Response to the Coronavirus Crisis, Finding the Silver Lining. That seemed to be a common communication path by everyone. They identified the diverse learners, because we have diverse learners. Partnerships with our communities, businesses, and industry leaders was the big thing, to make sure everyone is involved with what's going on. We need to respond as a leader during the pandemic. We can't just sit back. We have to take aggressive moves to take care of our community. We have to have proactive communication on the safety and learning of the students. Measures and policy gaps were identified. They work from home policies had to be developed, and technology updates had to be done. As I'm sure Mr. Sir would agree that we had to do technology updates. Virtual board meetings, getting all the administration had to do for student success was what they discussed. And the response, recovery, positioning, and transformation was total transparency to all. So the whole community needed to know what was going on. Another class was policy, governance, strong leadership, effective transition, board basics. They went over governance process, board staff relationships, executive limitations, governance model, explaining transitioning a new board trustees and new president. And do you realize that every time we add even one board member to our board, we are now creating a new board, which means new transitioning. If we add the CEO, it's a new transition. So whether it's a trustee or a CEO, it's a transition of a new board. We were able to network. I was able to network with my peers from the Central Region, and they shared quite a bit about what they were doing. One of which was definitely they were looking into reduction in staffs if the care money wasn't there. They were looking at the enrollment, because enrollment has definitely suffered. They were looking at all the virtual classes that they had to do. Some were opting to do classes, even though their state said they shouldn't be doing it. Some were still doing it, but the tendency was more to go with virtual. but everybody was listening to what we were doing for helping the students with the iPads, the laptops, all that, the connections to the networking system so that they would have network systems to access, and how our adjuncts and our teachers were working with our students to make sure that they understood their lessons and were accomplishing their tasks to get further in their education. The next class I took was the orientation or ensuring momentum and readiness for change. Annual conventions is what we should all be going to. New attendee orientation. So not only when we have someone that's new, should we have it at the beginning? After 6 months, we should have it again so that we can see what they have learned in the 6 months to see if they need anything to increase their opportunities. So they're talking about continuing education for new board members. And that's something I think, Dr. Mitchell, I think you saw that too in the training. They also talked about retreats 2 times a year. One is for us to work and get things accomplished so that we work as a board collectively. We get to know our personalities and what really is of concern to us and the board goals. But it's also then to work with the board president, our CEO, to work on her goals, establish her goals, and make sure that she's getting her goals and doing what is needed. We have to trust each other. And ethics and AccuPlacer test was one of the things they talked about. Student engagement, pathway to improve graduation. Accreditation, planning visits they talked about. Strategic planning and president priorities. And we need to change the intelligence with crisis managing. We have to make sure that we are proactively handling things. They want us to abolish, this is what came out of their retreat. They abolished remedial education. And I think you understand what remedial education is. I think we had done that when we had that with the other.
We're working on that, right?
Yep. 60 credit hours now are for the associate's degree, so that we are making it for the associate's degree so they can advance themselves. Teaching administrators. They don't want just plain teachers. They decided to have teaching administrators in so that the teachers understand what the administration functions are. They worked on the accreditation prep. As we all know, we went through accreditation. We went through meeting the people in our accreditation. Every 6 to 7 years, we have to be accredited. This is something that should be ongoing that we're always concerned about. True paths. This is credited and non-credited students in the same classroom they talked about, that they should be able to work together. They have a common path that they have a degree that they want to get, but some of them may be career and some of them may be, some are credited and some are non-credited for their situation. Heart-based leadership, and then they engaged with Cengage Unlimited, which is a cost of textbooks, 1 fee per year, $200 a year for all their textbooks. So that was interesting. I thought that was really good. There was the board and the CEO maximizing the relationships. CEOs, and I've shared this with Dr. Mitchell already, so she's not going to be shocked when I tell you all this stuff. CEOs must exhibit behavior worthy of board support. CEO should not enter into any board politics. CEO must keep board informed on board finances, especially with enrollment, COVID, and all other items related to the stability of the college. The CEO owes the board the good, the bad, and the ugly, as was said with Clint Eastwood. The CEO should keep board aware of all before either a board member is called or something ends up in the paper. The CEO is to provide with full information for board to make good decisions. The CEO should agree to no surprises, no secrets from the board, should exhibit trust and respect to the board members, and board members need to work for the whole institution, not just a segment of the community, so for the whole community. A divided vote on the board. Once the decision is made, that is the collective decision that the whole board must then follow. You cannot say, I disagree, and give your reasons. You need to be supportive of the board decision, whether you disagreed or not. The board retreat as a strategy vehicle for board cohesion and team building was another one that I went to. Board retreats, they should be working on a 5-year plan and goal setting for the CEO. And that's something I think that we definitely, and Jake, I think you know where that comes from, that we have to do that and keep that in place. Ensure resources are there to achieve student plan and diversity planning. We have to deal with intense and challenging questions brought up by anyone. We have to brainstorm with each other. We have to look at the board's strengths. We have to look at any accreditation issues. We have to look at the educational master plan. Then we have to deal with board ethics and diversity training, which we've already gone through the diversity training. Employee trustees to ask for more information and to dig deeper when we have our retreats. We are to talk frankly, and openly, and work on strategy planning so that the focus of our attention is always on the students. We need to push our CEOs after COVID as a result of what all we are doing. So we need to make sure that we are pushing our CEO to do what we believe are the goals for the college and for the best interest of the college and the students. Weekly call reports, we get, I think, daily reports from you.
We do get weekly and daily as the things arise, yes.
Right. Cultivating the board on key issues. And are we communicating, and are we being honest with each other when we're at our retreats? We can all learn something new, no matter how long we have been on this board. So even if we're new or an old trustee, we can always learn something new. And that is why they highly recommend the success of a successful board is board retreats, and twice a year. You need to do a board self-assessment. It needs to be meaningful and it needs to have follow-up. You all need to hear the same message at the same time at the retreat. Not because you're going to this class or I'm going to that class. We all need to be in the same environment hearing the same message. You know what you need as the outcome for the retreat. You need to cultivate leadership and governance and culture of the college. The culture of the college is critical and important. We need to deal with current challenges. Specifically, we know the pandemic is the main one. How can we do it better? What do we need to do to improve? Each of us needs to have an update and do it. We need to have an outside facilitator. No one we know, somebody that's an outside facilitator that can run the meeting and understand how to keep it controlled. Because as I said before, one new board member equals a new board. Dynamics change, and whenever that happens, we need to make sure we're all on the same path. That concludes the ACCT conference. Now I will give you the update from the ICCTA meeting that was held virtually on November 12th and 13th. And the big issue was the roundtable. And as I shared with you, Nancy, I did bring up about the issues that you were concerned about. We also did talk about the fair tax that was defeated and what cuts were going to be coming to the colleges because of that. We asked for new and creative ways that we can reach out to our elected officials, state and federal, during the COVID-19 pandemic, because apparently, you know, we're all kind of being very quarantined and watching, not going near anyone. How can the ICCTA website better serve trustees? And how is your college navigating through the pandemic? Everyone shared, and as I shared with you, most of them are going virtual. Some of them did say that they were doing where they did have kids on, but after the latest thing, I've heard from my support group there that basically it's virtual. I think that's what you're getting to. Mm-hmm. And that will conclude my report from the ICCTA. Anyone have any questions of me? And sorry I took so long, guys. You missed me for 2 months. Hearing none, I need the student trustee report. Mr. Wilkinson.
Yes. Wait for this PowerPoint to pull up. Okay, well, good afternoon. It's kind of weird being here in the afternoon for a board meeting. I got up this morning, I was like, wait, what time do I have to be here? But I got here on time. So then, I mean, just recent activity leading into finals week. The December Blazer, they put out their final issue for this semester, just highlighting some of the things that went on this semester, then kind of looking into 2021, what the college is going to look like, and then just some political views of like what the kind of aftermath of the 2020 election was. And then there was the wellness week that they put on to kind of de-stress everyone going into finals week, because of course, finals week is one of the most stressful times for a student. And I'd imagine it's also probably very stressful for the professors as well. And then if you guys are free on Friday at 7:30, the JJC Performing Arts has their virtual concert. I attended last Friday. It was really great. I would recommend all of you guys attend it to listen to what they've done. I loved it because they played one of the songs that I actually played in high school. So I kind of got to live back in my high school days with it. When they played it, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. But so yeah, that's what kind of has been happening recently. And then what I kind of really want to talk about is my student response form that I sent out to all of the students. I think it was a week ago, November 30th, last Monday, that I sent it out. So after our last board meeting in November, I kind of had the idea that I wanted to send out a student response form and get everyone's feedback on the semester and looking into next year, since, I mean, we had the coffee and conversation with the president and people I talked to at student government meetings, or what I heard back to, from kids in my class, or stuff like that. But I really wanted a very open and honest opinion on how their semester went, and that's what I want. That's what I really could see from my student response form. Is I kept it completely anonymous, so students could be as hard as they wanted on all of the questions. They could be honest, and that's what I saw with it. The first question I kind of asked was how they kind of struggled academically. And you can see I put some of the quotes up there that people, or some of the responses. And a lot of the students are wanting kind of more of a synchronized course schedule so they can have set times that they have to log on. And I completely understand with that being able to wake up one day and be like, okay, to kind of give you a real feel that you're still attending school at this time. And then there's a lot of students that were just seeing that, or thinking that since most of them are asynchronous, that they're not structured as well. So if a professor kind of has more of a time schedule on when they are going to have these due dates, and something that I have thought of a lot, and a lot of the kind of general feel from a lot of the responses was having that schedule published that, like, the Sunday of that week before, because a lot of them will publish something maybe that Thursday and make it due Friday. And one day of time, letting a student know, especially when they might be having a ton of other commitments. There's a lot of students that are working full-time now, or are trying to share a computer with a family member or something like that. Giving us a one-day notice on an assignment that could take maybe the whole day, you never really know, is definitely not a lot of time. And what the kind of general feel from that is, not a lot of students were liking kind of having that no prep for getting their assignments done. And then you can see kind of the second one from the bottom. There was one person saying that it helped them because they didn't have that time of travel to school. And so that kind of saved them money and stuff in that way. And then the second question that was asked was about financial struggles, anything that they kind of went through. And the general feel from that was at the top. I know the college has done food drives before, and when I talked to Dr. Farmer, she was talking about all these gift cards and stuff like that. And of course, I know it, you guys know it, but if there could be more media presence or more emails or push for that, so students know, like the CARES Act and year funding and all that, is out there. So, because from what I saw is not a lot of students are familiar with it. They're not getting that, either there's something being lost or it's just not being put out there enough. And then the third from the bottom, you can see that, I mean, I of course don't know who that person is, but they lost their job 4 times since the beginning of this. And there's quite a few people that have lost their job 3, 4, 5. I think one person was about 7 times since the beginning of this. So if, like I talked about last November or last month, just kind of have, if the professors can be understanding and with the current situation that of course the students are in, and then we can do the same thing when it comes to them. And then one of the big things that I have kind of focused on this semester is the mental health of all the students, because I mean, it's a huge thing that is impacting not only our college, but the nation. It's all across, you see it in the students, you see it in the faculty, you see it across the state. Mental health has been a huge concern since COVID has really hit. And so that kind of will tie into when I talk about the tutoring and learning center on my next slide. But the good thing that I've seen from a lot of the responses on this topic or in this question is that not a lot of students are getting kind of hurt more than they have. Like, it's just bringing it out more. That third one is just saying that their depression and anxiety is getting worse, but they've already been seeing a therapist for some time now, and which was, of course, I don't want COVID or school to be putting them in an increasingly worse environment, but I'm glad to see that they are seeking out that therapy that they need and the therapy that they should be giving themselves. And then that last one, talking about if there's more events that could be revolved around de-stressing, like I talked about with the Wellness Week leading up to finals, if there could be more of those throughout next semester, putting those out there, and maybe every week, bi-weekly, once a month, something like that, to check in with all the students and make sure that they can have a time to de-stress and get all, I guess just get everything out there so everyone can be fine in the state that we're in, because who knows how long that we will still be in this into 2021. And then with the TLC, I had a meeting with Elizabeth Bell and Erica Reyes, and we talked about potentially doing group study sessions because a lot of people don't want to go on call one-on-one with maybe a professor or one-on-one with a tutor, because it's kind of weird. There's kind of this, I guess, stigma out there that, oh, if I'm being tutored, then it makes me lesser of a person. And that's what we kind of want to break from with, especially during this time, is, of course, a lot of students are hurting in their education. They're thinking that they're not getting the same amount out of it. So if we can kind of gear the TLC from just one-on-one tutoring to maybe my whole math class or my whole English class joins on this call at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, and we can see each other working, that it might give them this real feel of actually being in a classroom setting. And also that can, like the first one says, it could be used to help your mental health by being able to see other people working around you and having their faces and being able to kind of talk to them and work through your math problems or go through your English essay or whatever with other people. And so there was a lot of good responses coming back from the Tutoring and Learning Center, and a lot of kind of willingness, I guess I should say, of people wanting to see these study with your peer group sessions, because I personally think that would be a great idea to not only meet new people, but to be able to work things out with other students in your class and make sure everyone is getting through it together. And then kind of towards the bottom of the survey, I wanted to get some positive from the survey. I wanted to see what the students are noticing that the college is doing what their teachers or their professors, any staff members that have helped them through this kind of pandemic or this time in the college. And I got a lot of positive feedback from it, as I was hoping. There was a lot of students putting professors' names down saying, this professor did this for me. She has helped me so much. And I was so thankful to see all that. And there was a lot of people or students just saying, I'm so thankful that the college did this semester. And like the first one, my professor currently and in the past since COVID have been really good at responding to my emails in a decent time. It's even something so simple like that of responding in a timely manner that has really helped myself and college students kind of get through this semester, is just being there for us and being able to communicate with us through it all. And then looking forward into 2021, the next semester, I wanted to see what a lot of the students wanted to see, and what a majority of them wanted, like I mentioned before, was synchronized classes. They want to kind of have that set schedule, be able to have a set time that they're going to have to wake up in the morning, get on call, get this assignment done by. And then also having the face on screen. They want to see the professor's face. They want to see their peers' faces on the screen, just to be able to, instead of just staring at a PowerPoint the whole time. There's kind of that barrier when you're only hearing that professor's voice rather than seeing their face when they're talking to you on that PowerPoint. And then of course, that last one, I never thought I would hear any college student or high school student say it, that I want school back. I want to be in person. Because of course, when you're going to college, a lot of students are like, I don't want to go to school today. But now you're hearing it, and it's definitely weird to say that I want to go back to college or go back to school. And so that's just like the general feel, is everyone wants to get back in person. And of course, that's a little out of our control completely, or not completely, but it's not the time that we have complete control over it right now. And then also, these are some things that I kind of pulled from their general aspect of everything, and I've kind of touched on all of them. Just like there was one person, or there was a couple that were wondering if there was any way to extend the fee due dates and refund dates. Just with online semester, it's not easy to get the feel of how the semester is going to go, or how your professor is really communicating to you after like the 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know the exact timing of how long we have for due dates and refund dates. And then, like I mentioned before about the wellness center, having like weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly checkups just for the students to de-stress, and then having more structure to online courses, having them publish a schedule by the Sunday of that week, so students know what to prepare for that upcoming week. And then if the instructors can actually touch base with the students at least twice a month, whether that's via emails, Teams, or whatever their choice is, it could definitely help a lot with self-esteem, with mental health and stuff like that. Because I know from my experience, one of my professors, actually, he touched base with me right before finals week and was like, hey, Ian, you're doing really good in this class. I see that you have an A, but just keep it up for finals week. Like I said before, something simple like that can really help moving into the final semester or halfway through the year or whatever it is. And then that concludes my presentation. Is there any questions?
Ian, great presentation.
It was, I'd actually like to have a copy of it if you could share it with me.
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
I would like that too.
So I got about 95 responses from my response form. I plan on, just bear with me and let me get through finals week, and then next week I will copy all of the responses into a Word document, and I will send it to everyone so you guys can have those copies and read through it at your leisure.
Great.
Okay, great, thank you.
Is there anything, I noticed you mentioned the depression and anxiety, and you alone, your age group is not only the only ones
Yes.
going through it. I think everyone's going through it with the pandemic because nobody expected to be locked down, quarantined, whatever you want to call it, for so long, not having that interaction or the ability to socialize. Do we have any social workers on that they can work with?
We have mental health counselors available, yes. And
Because I noticed, and this is part of physical therapy with some of us that go through physical therapy, they have a social worker that works with you because they all know that something is going on in your body and in your mind. And a lot of it is the depression, the anxiety that causes some of the problems, which you can see from your report what's stemming from that.
Yes.
Is there any way that if they want to schedule with a social worker, a 15-minute talk or a 10-minute talk to help them? Because I see one's paying for a physical therapy.
I'd like to call on Dean Cindy Vasquez Barrios. She's filling in for Dr. Farmer today. So Cindy?
Yes, Dr. Mitchell. Yes, we do have our student wellness advocates. They do take appointments. We have been doing monthly and sometimes bi-weekly sessions for students that are open. We offer 3 group therapy sessions throughout the semester. We send out a monthly newsletter on mental health. It's anywhere between 2 and 5 pages. We also do monthly podcasts on certain mental health topics for students, as well as wellness events that we coordinate with office student activities. So yes, the students are open to make any kind of appointments. There is a portal that they can make an appointment online, and they will do an assessment for that student and then work with that student for up to 10 sessions during the semester. If a student needs ongoing services or support beyond that, then we work with our case manager, who's kind of like our social worker, and works with that student to get them off campus support services.
That's good. Do you have a population that you know that's doing this, or does Ian need to spread this more to the students so that they are aware?
We send this email. I send out a monthly email
Okay.
to all students talking about the process of what they can do, and also all the activities and mental health and wellness activities are available that month or in the next 2 months, so students can schedule them in.
And Ian, you can definitely share again too, through whoever you're making and getting these responses from, because I think it's critical. Depression and anxiety right now, and I know that more situations with paramedics is suicidal stuff, and I think that's the depression issue. And I think we all need to show a concerted effort. And I'm glad that we're doing that in the school. So that's great that you pass it on.
We also have social media channels as well. We have a Facebook and an Instagram page where we send out multiple posts a day talking about mental health and wellness, and also promoting all the different activities that the department is doing. So, if Ian can help us get, the word out even more, that would be great.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think the board really appreciates all that's out there then. Great, and then regarding, you brought up a point about the one student that was having problems with the tuition because they lost a job 4 times. Student loans got extended for 12 months. Is there anything we're doing to help the students that have that situation where they lose the job, they're in that semester, they have a $2,500 balance as you showed? Is there anything we're doing to show a deficit to help, or is the foundation, I'll ask Christy, is she stepping in to help?
The students should be directed to Dr. Angie Keeson-Lesbitek for student emergency funds, and then they typically work through Angie, and then they are directed to Christy as well. We've been listening to our students. I know Ian mentioned something about due dates for student fees and payments, and we actually just talked about that at Cabinet. Dr. Farmer sent through a recommendation to postpone that final payment date until after the holidays. So we continue to listen to the students and move forward. Christy, I see that you're online if you'd like to share, but we have been very proactive reaching out to our students. And, Ian, you also mentioned something about the, additional marketing for scholarships and fees. Actually, Kelly Roder-Chinelli and I just had that conversation earlier this week. And so those marketing pieces that go out through Herald News and, various social media sources like that, we're going to start expanding and including it there as well. So we're listening and we're hoping to get ahead of you, but we continue to listen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Christy?
Yes, thank you. Please direct students that have lost their job that need tuition help. They can be helped through the Student Emergency Fund. So that Student Emergency application is available online through the portal. And then also, if anybody does apply for the CARES Act and they, at the bottom of that application, it says if they don't qualify, that gives you a link right to Student Emergency. So please reach out to myself or Dr. Angie Kaysen if you'd like to fill out a student emergency application. I think at this point we'll have Dr. Farmer send it out again to the students, maybe directly. We send directly information about scholarships. We'll send out information about the student emergency, but please direct them. And I think after listening to your report, which is such good feedback for all of us to see what we can do. So I think it's important for us to help you gather up answers to all these issues to be able to send back to the students that have taken the time to ask the questions and state the problems for you to go back and be able to say, okay, this department will do this person, you can get this information, so that they feel that their needs are being listened to and answered. So student emergency, we still have scholarships. Once the grades come in, they're still coming in. We're able to look and do those scholarship evaluations, and those will put on the account. And yes, we did get word that the drop date was backed up from December 6th to January 6th. So that put a lot of relief on the students as far as when their payments have to be made. But please head them to the foundation, to myself, or to Angie Kaysen. We'll ask them to fill out a student emergency form. And I'll tell you, as far as you mentioned food and food cards. I just approved another $4,000 worth of food cards. We have not turned anybody away. So if somebody is not getting help with food insecurities, loaner laptops or any of that, it's because they haven't gotten the link to be able to apply. So I promise you that I'm helping everybody that comes to me. And so even reach out to I get a lot of referrals through our faculty. They're great resources. They know their students personally. They bring them to me with an issue. It's all confidential. If the student, I've gotten emails from students, but please let them know that we're here for them. And that student emergency fund, it currently is still at $130,000 because that's supported by our employees. Every time paychecks come around, we get more deposits into that account. And then we're getting them through our year-end appeal and other things too. So I think, there is help for all these students if we can just get them through the right process and application.
Thank you, Christy. So you've got a lot of feedback from us, from our administration. Is there anything else that anyone wants to add?
Well, I was just going to say, thank you to all of you guys for adding your comments. And that's why the big thing I stressed was kind of more marketing to it, because of course I know it. I know the student government because we've had the Wellness Center come into us and talk, and Angie Kaysen Lesbitek has talked to us. So on a sense of, would there be a chance of maybe for the like funds options or for like wellness, is there a chance of maybe professors the very first day of class push that out so they have those links? Because I know just from my standpoint and a lot of students is that if you see, we see quite a few emails a day. I think personally, and one of the reasons why I think my student forum went out so well is that they saw it came from me. And if it came from a professor, I feel like they're more likely to actually open up that email and maybe scan through it or actually read through it. Exactly. And because, we get so many emails a day from different departments and from our professors that we're most likely to probably not look at it unless it comes from someone we know or someone that is within our course or just our professor in general.
Okay, and I know Dr. Gray is on, the meeting. I see her little icon out there. So I'm sure she's taking those notes down, and we'll make sure that she can communicate to the faculty. Correct, Dr. Gray? I see.
That's correct. I will share that in our next town hall meeting.
Thank you.
Great feedback.
Thank you very much. And Ian, I hope they're not deleting my emails.
I don't know.
Read the fifth.
I think that's good. Thank you so much.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate your report and the input from everyone to help these students, because students are our first concern. All right, the next report I'm looking for is Building and Grounds Committee, either Jake or Dan. Do you have a presentation, Mr. Mahalik or Mr. O'Connell?
Well, there were no bids this month. I don't know if I can compete with the last two presentations, but I'm going to try. Up to progress status, replacing the elevators in J&G building. This is in design and development phase still. The parking lot improvements for the crack and ceiling. I guess his construction documents are in process, so this project when we have a start date, we'll let you know. The auto shop and natural science epoxy floors, which I believe we voted on last month, is scheduled in December to start the project. The U Concourse carpeting construction is scheduled also this month. And then you guys saw the presentations for the city center and for the student bridge today, which we had in our meeting as well. We have the respiratory therapy project, which is going out for bid. Actually, no, it's a mandatory pre-bid meeting starting tomorrow, with bids coming in January 19th. And those are going to be shared with us in February, at the February board meeting. And then the campus police project, the engineers finally had a chance to sit down with the campus police chief, and they discussed his thoughts, and they will be putting together a plan and presenting that to the president to share with us at a future board meeting as well. And that's all we really had. So.
Great. I'm excited about that respiratory therapy and of course the police. Anybody else have any comments? Anyone have any questions for Jake or for Dan? Hearing none, we'll move on to the president's report. Dr. Mitchell?
Okay, thank you. So I thought I'd just start as we reflect back on 2020, the isolation of the COVID pandemic and the volatility of our country and the deep pain of racial injustice. I had asked our campus to pledge and lead interactions throughout the year with compassion and respect for students, colleagues, and for ourselves. And as always, I'd like to thank our employees for exceeding those expectations, who have truly been amazing and warm and kind and compassionate and reaching out to help others. And for that, I thank you. With that said, I thought what a better way to end the year is other than to highlight some of the successes that took place. Thank you again to our faculty who converted over 1,400 classes in 2 weeks to an online format in the spring semester and continue to invest in the online delivery of their courses in the summer and throughout the fall semester. Thank you all for your commitment and dedication. Our PPE implementation and decision-making in many cases went above and beyond the CDC requirements to ensure the health and safety of our employees and our students. Thank you to Kara Anderson, our EHS manager, and everyone who serves in our ERRG team that went through countless hours of decision-making and sending out emails to ensure the safety of our employees and our students. I want to thank you to our contact tracers led by Dean Cindy Vasquez Barrios and Judy Connolly from HR. I cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart, the hours that you put in, the sleepless nights that you went into, and the texting that we went back and forth. Thank you for protecting everyone. The EHS safely implemented the COVID-19 reporting matrix for the college contact tracing. They tracked and implemented changing guidelines from the CDC and the Illinois Department of Public Health. We successfully allotted $2.7 million in CARES Act funding to our students in the spring, summer, and fall semesters. Thank you again to the JJC Foundation, who raised over $250,000 to assist students in need. And of the $33,000 raised just this year alone, 90% came from donations for our employees, which which continues to show the commitment and dedication from everyone that we work with. To all those working on the Workday implementation, again, the HR and finance teams and IT, I know this is the year that we thought we would never be, have to have that challenge with COVID and everything we have going on. But the work that you're doing with the implementation of Workday is critical and essential. And I look forward to the next couple of years when that project is implemented and it helps to ease the pressure on all of our employees. I'd like to thank our donors and our partners who have continued to be supportive throughout the year, the donors who contributed to events that we had to cancel and allowed us to keep those funds. You are truly amazing, and Joliet Junior College could not continue without your ongoing support. We will be nationally recognized for our Apprenticeship Week held in November and featured in the National Apprenticeship Week 2020 annual report coming out of Washington, D.C. JJC and I was featured in the National Community College Journal in August and September. Untangling budget uncertainty, flexibility, communication, and a clear understanding of institutional goals are critical when creating a budget during uncertain times. Again, national recognition for the nation's first community college. The 2020 fifth annual State of the College address and first virtual address garnered a 42% increase in attendance, the largest increase in the event's history of 5 years. Thank you to Kelly Roeder Tonelli and her team for supporting me and helping me raise the awareness for a critically important state of the college. We had tremendous support from IT, who supported a remote workforce and student population during these last 9 months. They had to scale our back-end technology by 2 times overnight to meet the demand. In addition, they have either identified, procured, or checked out over 200 laptops for students in need and another approximately 125 laptops for faculty and staff working remotely. We hired our much needed Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and Compliance and created the Office of DEI&C to support the role of faculty, staff, and students. And thanks to Dr. Irvin's leadership, JJC began rolling out its Cultural Competency Workshop. And to date, we've had over 100 leader members who have completed, and I just completed mine yesterday. Excellent, excellent workshop. We initiated a collaboration with South Metropolitan Higher Education Consortium to execute Diversity Inclusion Job Fair in the fall of 2021. We initiated another virtual engagement, including a remote benefits fair and an annual Christmas event for Santa with the JJC community, with 133 children registered for a bedtime story with Santa, and will receive a coloring book and hot cocoa in the mail to continue what we started to support so many children whose parents who work for Joliet Junior College are giving their time morning, noon, and night and taking away from their family time. So thank you to all the families. We filled our critical role of Vice President of Finance and Administrative Services, the Chief of Police, and Chief Human Resources Officer positions with quality candidates that are excited and pleased to join the nation's first public community college. Although these 4 new individuals have only been here for several months and some less than a month, let me tell you, they are an amazing group of individuals, and I look forward to the work we can do together. I'd also like to celebrate happy birthday to Joan Tierney and Attorney Buck, who have December birthdays. I will not forget that. And thank you again to all of our retirees for your dedication and commitment to Joliet Junior College. So I end with this year's been a year like no others, but as always, I am forever thankful to my JJC family. You have been there to support me and make me a very proud president. I wish you all the happiest of holidays, health and happiness, and I encourage you to turn your computers off when the college is closed during that winter break and take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Any questions of Dr. Mitchell? Hearing none, we'll move on. The chairman's report. I'm going to go back because I forgot to ask Trustee Gillian if she had anything to input on the ACCT conference. Nancy, are you there?
I don't know if she got back on. She did text me and said she was having technology problems and she was going to try to she was kicked out. So I'm not sure if she got back on or not.
Okay, well, we'll let that go and I'll address it to her next month. Well, all I want to say as the representative for our team of Board of Trustees, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of our staff, our presidents, our teachers, our adjuncts, and especially to our students, our enrollment. Thank you so much. We enjoy being a part of JJC, and we can't wait till 2020 is over. I think that's the common thought process, especially when you see the ornaments that say 2020, and it's got the roll of toilet paper at the end because we want to see it gone. So we're hoping for a new 2021 where we're not dealing with pandemics and we're into a better moving forward environment. So happy holidays to all, and rest assured, we will be back in 2021. Thank you. All right. Next, we need to go into closed session, and the reasons for going under closed session falls under items under the Open Meeting Acts of 2C2, collective negotiating matters, and 2C1, personnel issues. I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Joan, call roll.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
Garcia Guillen, Mahalik,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
and Broderick.
Yes.